Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us again today on our What's New webinar. Got a few new items to point out today. Nothing really major that got implemented. So our new items will be pretty quick today. But at the end of it, I'm going to go over purchasing shipping labels. In case anyone is interested in that topic, that's something that we released a few months ago, but just wanted to give it another overview. Again, if anything is unclear or you have any questions while we're going through this, feel free to post it in the chat or the Q&A section, and I will get to it as it pops up. So let's dive into it. First thing, if anyone's using our Flxpoint API, especially our V2 API, which has a lot more endpoints and is our most recently updated version, we did increase the rate limit to 2 requests per second. I believe the original rate limit was 1 request per second. So we got a significant increase there. That seems to be about pretty standard for a lot of other systems as well. So we're just matching that. So if anyone's using that, you can definitely update or talk to your developers and have them update their code to handle that and speed things up a bit. Another thing to point out here is cancel unacknowledged items. So this has to do if you are using our either our API or you've written to our API for your source and are using PO acknowledgements. So essentially what this is here, I'll show you, it's a setting under our source settings here. And it's a toggle to cancel unacknowledged items. So this is useful if your system is only pushing a single acknowledgement back to Flxpoint. And essentially what this means is if there is a line item missing on that acknowledgement, that will automatically mark it as canceled. So this definitely isn't something that you have to use. It's just dependent on how your system interacts with the PO acknowledgements in Flxpoint. So it's an easy toggle where if your system is only acknowledging items that they're going to fulfill, and the idea is if there isn't a line item on that acknowledgement that you're going to go ahead and cancel it, you can go ahead and toggle this on, and that'll handle it directly here and take care of that status update for you. This next one automatically generates a default routing group and shipping policies. This is really is going to affect any of our new or onboarding customers who are using the system. Prior, you did have to create your first routing group and also create shipping policies. But now going forward, for any new customers, we are adding a general default order routing group. So you have all those settings there already. And then we're also setting up 2 default shipping policies, a standard and expedited policy, to help streamline and kind of get you going in the right step for getting your shipping mapping and order routing solutions set up. And another cool one here that I'd like to point out, just another good quality of life update, is our source and channel dashboard status indicators. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it's actually pretty simple in practice. So when we're looking at our sources or our channel integration, if we're in our integrations page here, you have a green dot or a yellow dot or no dot, depending on what is set up on the integration. So you can see these, my sync products, get orders, publish products, sync orders are all green. That essentially means I've gone through the whole process here. I've set my configuration settings. I've set up any advanced settings on step 2. I have a mapping template defined, and I have that fully saved. Now, ones that show a yellow dot, that basically means a draft, which means I've started it, but I haven't completely finished the setup. So it's a good thing to see at a glance what is set up. Maybe you forgot that you were working on one of these integrations. So it's a good way at a glance to see where you're at with these. But then obviously one that doesn't have a dot at all, meaning that you haven't started any aspect of that yet. And then just a little kind of heads up, we are working on a new source integration wizard that will be coming out here in the near future, which will definitely streamline adding new sources and make everything a little bit easier going through that whole process and guiding you through that. So another little tidbit that'll be coming here soon. And we also have these same integration statuses on our source page as well. You can see them here outlined on my source example. And then just want to point out some new docs that we've added as well. within our support page here, docs.flexpoint.com, we've updated our user roles page because there's been a lot of questions on what are the exact permissions for each of our user roles. So this is definitely something, this is how it is right now. It's definitely on a roadmap to add more granularity to this here in the future. But as of today, these are the breakdown of permissions for each of our roles within Flexpoint. But again, it's something that we're going to be adding here in the near future and is on a roadmap to give you a little bit more granular control over what your users can access and control that a little bit better than we're offering right now. And then we've also updated our doc and added a video here for cross-docking within Flexpoint. I know this is kind of a touchy topic, just making sure that cross-dock is working effectively and everything is set up as well as it can be, because there are a few peculiarities with cross-docking. I know I've worked with quite a few of you on this as well. So this is just something, we have an updated doc here in video, going through the whole process and navigating the cross-docking PO page. So if you haven't went in there, used it, it could be a little daunting. So we tried to make this a bit easier for everyone and a bit more streamlined for using it. All right, so that's it for what's new in Flexpoint over these last 2 weeks. I was taking a look at our upcoming tasks. I think we might have some good new features coming out for the next one. So definitely when you get that email to sign up for our next what's new, check that one out. And it looks like we're gonna have some bigger features coming out possibly in the next 2 weeks there that we can review on that one. So now we got what's new out of the way. I did want to dive into purchasing shipping labels and talk about that process a bit. So if that's anything that you folks are interested in, feel free to hang on. If you don't want to hear me yammer about that, feel free to hop out and go enjoy your lunch hour, but we'll dive into it here. So recently we did release a tool in Flexpoint to allow you to purchase shipping labels and attach them to your POs. Really, we see this useful for your own 3PL, or really if you're leveraging our vendor portal and having your vendors log in and manage orders within the vendor portal. What happens when you purchase that shipping label and attach it to the PO, it goes directly into the vendor portal. So that way your vendor can print out that shipping label, slap it on their shipment, and get it out. A big benefit of this is we go through Ship Engine. We're integrated via their API. So to get things going with purchasing shipping labels or even a rate shopping as well, you will sign up through Ship Engine. You can connect all of your carrier accounts there, and Ship Engine will essentially determine the price based on product weight, the box dimensions, destination and origin location to get you the best rate that you can. So what it looks like to set that up here in Flexpoint, first things first is you will go to your settings page, orders, and then shipping labels. I already have my Ship Engine account set up here. And actually, something to point out, if you just want to play around with this for a bit, if you sign up for a free account on Ship Engine, they give you a test API key with some dummy FedEx, UPS, and USPS account information. So if you just want to play around with this a little bit and see what it's like before maybe fully going forward with it, you can integrate this and use that test API key, similar to what I'm doing here, and get a feel for what that process is like. And then if it makes sense and you want to move forward with that, you can then go ahead and go to a full account with Ship Engine and add in your carrier accounts as well to get those true prices and that true integration going. So like I said, first thing, you would come down here to orders and shipping labels under settings. You'll plug in your API key and it will connect your carrier accounts once you have those established in your Ship Engine account, which is pretty cool. Another thing that you'll want to set up prior to really using this is on sources. One thing, if I pull up this account here, we look at address, definitely recommend filling out the origin address for your source, because when we go to purchase that shipping label, this will pre-populate there. You can always edit it, or if you forget to do this, you can add it at that screen, but this just helps update that and streamline it a bit for you. And then another little aspect that you'll want to set up first as well before you really dive into it is under our shipping methods. So it's going to tie into the shipping method selected for that source. And how it does it here is you have your own input shipping description, your shipping code here, and then this is the policy that it's mapped to. But this global method dropdown, this is the key one here. This is where we tie in to Ship Engine. So it's going to use this. So I have UPS ground as my main thing here. So I'm going to go ahead and select that as my global method. I already had selected it, so it's looking a little funny there. But we can see it now applied at that global method. So it's going to use that based on the shipping mapping, the shipping policy to source method mapping that we have. And then when it goes to this UPS ground, it's going to use the UPS ground global method for this shipping label purchase. So now we have those set up. What we'll want to do is go take a look at an order. So for an order to be eligible to have a shipping label generated for it, there needs to be a PO generated. The reason for that is the PO generation is when Flxpoint determines what source is going to get that order. So obviously we have to have a source determined for this and have a PO generated for it so we know which items are going to that source to purchase it. The PO obviously has to be unprocessed because if we're sending this to vendor portal, we want to purchase that shipping label before we process that PO over to the vendor portal. So to do this, what we would do under this PO order here, there's a little actions button. And then we can click buy shipping label. And it's going to pull up a shipping label flyout here. And you can see the ship from address. This is what pulled from that address field on our source here in Flxpoint. And that's why I recommend filling that out so it automatically populates here. You can also edit this once it did import for any reason if you need to do that. We also have the destination address. This is going to be from the shipment address that we either pull from your sales channel or potentially your reseller portal, depending on what you're using there to pull in the order. So that's going to populate here. You can edit that if necessary as well. Shipping date. So you can determine, when am I going to ship this out? You can set the shipping date for this here. Another unique little toggle here, if you want to use this or not, is essentially our tracking update to the sales channel. If you toggle this, after we purchase and generate the shipping label, we obviously know the tracking number that's going to be associated with that fulfillment. So we can automatically update that to the channel with the shipment details after that's purchased, just like we would normally from any of your dropship suppliers. When we get that tracking information in the Flxpoint, we would sync that up to your sales channel so your customer gets notified. This feature just automatically handles that since we're purchasing the shipping label here in Flxpoint directly. The next one down, we're going to see our line items for this order. So if this had multiple line items coming in for this PO or this source, we would see them here. Right now, I just have the single 120 volt charger here. Then you're going to see the weight of the item and the shipment the shipment quantity that's requested to fulfill. Next up is you're going to select the package that this is going to go in. So a lot of times you maybe know what your vendor's packaging is, or they kind of have a standard there. When you go to click add package, we will see the direct carrier packaging that's just populated via Ship Engine's API. Or if you're shipping out of your warehouse, or maybe your vendor uses a general size of box or package for most items, you can actually add custom packaging here. So if we click create new package, you can give this a name. So maybe it's my warehouse small box. Maybe this is 5 inches by 10 by 5. You can plug in the units here. Maybe this is 3 ounces empty. And then we have a toggle here to save this package for future use. So you don't have to go through this every time to save these details. You click add package. We go back here. You can see that saved here, and you can select any of your pre-saved boxes on these and add them to it. Then what's going to happen is it's going to give you the dimensions here, the approximate weight of the empty box, and then it's going to add that weight plus the product weight here. So that way we can get an accurate assessment of what the shipping rate is going to be. And then shipping method. So this is the final step. Again, this is where we are going to use that method that was assigned on the global method of that source shipping option that I showed you earlier. If you click check rates, it's going to go through and calculate based on origin, destination, weight, size, all that good stuff that goes into it. It shows you here, it went through UPS ground, which was our global method that was selected. And it's going to show us our estimated rate for this item. Then we can also choose what shipping label size you want to slap on the box. So it's really up to you, whichever one you want to use. And then when you click buy shipping label, it's going to give you a confirmation here showing everything that we just set up. And if you're in a sandbox account, if we click purchase, we're going to get an error because we can't purchase it. It's not a live account. But that would be the end spot if you are just testing it out, like I showed you here. Let me go back here a little bit, get back to this. When that shipping label does attach to it though, you'll see that as a PO attachment down here. And then when it gets processed and sent to your vendor, they'll be able to download that shipping label, slap it on the box, and fulfill it out. All right, I got a question here. Can we create a rule to make the product dimensions the same as the package dimensions? Frank, are you meaning, here, let me pull this back up. That we grab the product dimensions and that would be something that's available here on the package dimensions? If so, we don't have that right now, just because across all suppliers, it really depends how they are packaging or what dimensions they're giving. And then that gets thrown off whack a little bit if you have multiple items in it, because obviously those dimensions are going to multiply. I see what you said there. So all products are the exact package dimensions. Not a way to automatically do that, but again, you can save a predetermined package size here and be able to apply that. And one thing I didn't note on the shipping label purchasing, right now, this is a manual process to go through this for each order. There isn't a way to fully automate this because there are decision points that need to go in place. The packaging could vary and things like that, especially with origin and destination. I get what you're saying about that though. So that's maybe something, actually, I think me and you might be having a call here coming up to go over some things. So that's something we can dive into on that call. But right now, yeah, there's not a way to predetermine package size based on item size. Right now, yeah, it's definitely something we can look at adding on the roadmap as a feature and see what we can do to work with it there. I know there are some limitations. I haven't looked at the code, but I know a lot of this is determined or dependent on how we interact with the Ship Engine API. It is a good question. I'll bring it up to our dev team and see what we can do on that. Any other question on shipping rates or purchasing shipping labels? Another question come in, can pickups be scheduled? Not directly through this system. I don't believe, I have to look into the Ship Engine account. There might be something that you can trigger through the Ship Engine account that gets flagged when this gets purchased. I haven't investigated that. I'm gonna lean towards no scheduling pickups, but that I'd like to do a little bit more investigation on that and see what the final answer is. It might be something that we could coordinate with Ship Engine just by the fact of purchasing a shipping label, that it triggers a pickup if it's a certain origin address. That is a good question. And I don't know exactly. Like I said, I'm leaning towards no, but I'd have to look at some of the settings and the features on Ship Engine to give you a final answer on that one. All right. If there's any other questions, feel free to post them. I'll hang out here for another minute or so. If not, that's all I had today. Great seeing y'all again. Like I said, we're doing this every other week. So in about 2 weeks, we'll have another what's new and go over all the new features and any recent topics that have come up in the last 2 weeks. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time.